The story you're about to hear is an unofficial fan-made work, inspired by Bob's Burgers. It is not endorsed by the network or creators. This is a dark, fictional reimagining, created for fun, not profit. Bob's Burgers, Tina's Cannibal Diaries, Season 1, The Fog. Entry 5. Dear Cannibal Diary, if the fog world has a heartbeat, it's our block. Our building is the center. Bob's Burgers refuses to die. The neon sign still glows. The paint still flakes. Kuchi Kopi sits by the register with no light inside him, but I rub his head for luck when I'm counting the line. Jean makes him tiny foil hats. Louise says if he ever glows again, we should run because it's a fog hallucination. The front window is boarded. Teddy spent 2 days fitting plywood and sealing edges with tar from the docks. He cried while he worked. Not about the window. About Choo-Choo and Choo-Choo's dad. About the horde. He hammered nails like apologies and said, "For Bob," between each strike. The board is solid. Light comes through cracks. We see the line through gaps. Plastic wrap covers the gaps. On our right is Mort's place. It's your funeral home and crematorium. Our neighbor and now our dormitory annex. Teddy lives there. Rudy lives there. Mort says the rent is participation. Morning water runs, battery carries, grow room checks, bone soup stirs, upstairs sweeps. It would be morbid if it weren't also homey. On our left is the store next door, used to change names every week. Rent a swag. Iced Ice Baby. Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Video Bikini. Bad business plans and worse puns. Now it's ours. The grow house in daylight. The energy room at night. 5 stationary bikes in the front windows from a gym that did not survive. Hand-lettered sign. Ride 2 hours equals get a meal. In the back, under warming blankets that hum purple, we grow things that still want to be green. Scallions in jars, onions in buckets, thin-shouldered potatoes, one heroic basil plant that refuses to believe it's not summer. Fish odor stops by. He owns the buildings and the wharf. My domain, he says, tipping his bone-capped cane. We humor him because he runs the town generators. Morning. We prop the grow house door open. Fog slinks in. The first riders arrive early, heads down. Teddy does intake at the folding table. Writes names with a golf pencil. 2 hours for a meal, he says gently. You can break it up, but you'll have to come back for the rest before the stew. We keep stew on for the riders. Burgers are ceremony. Stew is mercy. The stew is mysterious pot. Dad hates when I call it that. He says a stew is a stew and a burger is a burger. Mort wires the bikes into the wall. The batteries sit in their cradle. Fat black bricks with handles. They sip at the rider's effort. The whole room sounds like a hive that read a pamphlet about cardio. A clock ticks too loud. A fan turns. The purple grow lights hum over the baby onions. When the fog makes the glass sweat, Rudy wipes it down with a rag, then returns to his own bike. Rudy has a rhythm. In, out, turn, count. His scarf is bright today. His cheeks burn. He pedals like loyalty. He catches my eye in the window and lines his breath to mine. I don't look too long. Louise's jealousy is a perimeter fence with teeth. We pay riders as promised. 2 hours, a bowl of stew and a small burger. 1 hour, just stew. 3 hours, extra pickles if we have them. Onions definitely. Ketchup and mustard always. Mayo if it didn't go weird. Burger of the day is still a chalkboard. Bob still writes the pun when the room is safe and the salt is plentiful. I write it down. Tradition is the kind of nonsense that keeps you from going feral. It was a running gag. Now it's a running prayer. The rotation is clean. Riders pedal, batteries drink, Teddy logs, Mort checks voltage. I move back and forth between doors, watching for the fog's smile. We carry a full battery brick across the alley to the restaurant, wire it into the grill circuit, slide the spent one into the grow house cradle. It works. Light for the board, heat for the steel, hum for the neon sign that says open. Dad doesn't go to the bikes. That's our rule. He is the hinge. If he leaves the grill, the room knows and the fog notices. Everyone else runs the floor, the door, the line, the light. He cooks. Midday. By fog noon, the line is a living spine looping down the block. The lamplighters swap poles. The mail bell sounds tired. People arrive in pairs to pretend they're a family because the line is kinder to families. Kids hold hands with adults who don't belong to them. Structure pretends back. Gene plays curbside, bone xylophone, and pan drums. Tip your drummer with ketchup packets, he announces. I accept mustard too, but that's spicy cash. He offers a limited edition song called My Thighs Are Crying, But My Heart Is Frying. Very catchy bridge. Sounds like someone getting off a bike and lying on the floor. Linda does traffic control in hymns. Sings a medley of Stand by Your Pan and Don't Come In If You're Bleeding. Original composition with a gospel run. When she gets to the front, she kisses the neon with 2 fingers. The neon hums back. We're all going to eat today, she promises. The room believes her because she talks like that even when she's lying. Louise runs the trap line, trip strings, grease stripes, a bucket of marbles in case a sprint breaks out. She stores them under the counter. Sometimes she stands on the milk crate to look over the heads at the end of the line and frowns at a shape only she can see. If she calls switch, we close the door, rotate the line to the back entrance, let the fog sulk outside. Teddy goes back and forth. Power mule and door bouncer. Shoulder you can lean into. He is bruised from last night but keeps moving. He keeps saying, for Bob. He says it with less crying now. Progress is when grief gets quieter instead of gone. Rudy helps everywhere. At Mort's, he sweeps the long hallway until it admits the day. At the bikes, he checks the straps and says, you got this. At the door, he screens the line. No bleeding, no fog past the tape, no drama unless it's needed for character development. He winks when he says the last part. I look at his scarf. The scarf looks back. Jimmy Jr. is here now. Pesto's got destroyed in the horde. Their window broke first. Their basement flooded. The supply. That's what we call it. After the horde, the basement was full. Very full. Mort worked for 3 days straight. Teddy helped. They did not talk about it. They came upstairs with clean hands and tired eyes, and Bob cooked what they brought him, and nobody asked questions we already knew the answers to. Dad processes the horde like he processes everything. Clean cuts, no waste, respectful. He salts each patty like prayer beads. The line knows. The line doesn't care. Hunger is bigger than knowing. Afternoon. Jimmy Jr. trades bike hours for burgers. Louise allows it because she's pragmatic about my emotions. If I'm going to be a mess, may as well get voltage out of it. He pedals with dancer legs, grins at me, sweat and fog on his lip. He likes me. He says it with calves, with bike hours, with the way he times his arrival to my breaks. He lets me be Bob's daughter and Tina. In this economy, that's more romance than most people can afford. Rudy likes me too. Different. Narrower and deeper. Like a stream that knows exactly where it's going. He doesn't flirt because he respects the landmines with Louise's face painted on them. He shows me his lists instead. Holds the door for my ledger hand. Tells me when the battery hum is wrong and lets me hear it too. He rides the bike and never asks me to watch. Then smiles when he catches me doing it anyway. This afternoon, Rudy and I are in the grow house checking the onions. He's measuring water. I'm logging growth in the ledger. Plant section. Different pages than the bodies. Your handwriting's different on this page, he says. Different how? Less shaky. I look at the plant page. He's right. The letters are rounder, softer. No blood smudges. Plants don't fight back, I say. Neither do people after, he says. Then he stops. Sorry, that was dark. It's true, though. He pours water into the onion bucket. The sound is small and clean. You saved Jimmy Jr., he says. Not a question. I let 3 horde members in. You made a choice. A bad one. A human one. He sets the bottle down. Looks at me. Louise would have made a different choice. Your dad would have made a different choice. You made yours. That's the thing about choices. They're only yours if they feel wrong after. I don't say anything. The fog presses against the glass. The onions smell like dirt and stubbornness. I'm glad you're here, I say. I'm glad you let me help, he says. We look at each other, the basil plant between us, the grow lights humming purple. His scarf is very blue. My hands are very dirty. We don't move. We don't need to. Being near someone without pretending is the new version of holding hands. Louise appears in the doorway. Inventory, she says. Her eyes flick between us. The eyebrow does its thing. She leaves. Rudy smiles. I should get back to the bikes. Yeah. He doesn't move for another 3 seconds. Then he does. His scarf trails behind him like a very polite flag. I write in the ledger. Plant section. Onions. Stable. Basil. Heroic. My handwriting is very round. The grow house. In the back, under warming blankets, we grow things. Scallions in jars, onions in buckets, potatoes that might make it. We germinate in jars. We whisper to jars. We run the lights on pedal power and battery leftovers. We pinch onion tops so the bulbs feed themselves and us. We give the basil 1 leaf every 3rd day. We tell it jokes. Jean sings Electric Love in a croon that cracks at the best part. The basil leans like it's listening. Sometimes we open the door and let a few line people in to see the green. They stop in the threshold. Seeing color this bright feels like stealing. We let them steal. Evening. Night is a word we use to bully the sky into admitting it's darker. The lamps thrum, the fog thickens, the line doubles. Second shift arrives. Riders cashing out their meals. Dock hands swapping salt for stew. Strangers who made it from 50 blocks away and look like they crossed a century. Bob cooks and cooks. He feeds the masses. Burgers and stew with pickles, onions, ketchup, mustard. The way he puts the bun down like he's setting a crown on a head that forgot it was royal. People leave warmer by 2 degrees. Mort is grinding bones this evening. For bread. The basement door is shut like it always is, but it doesn't matter. The sound comes through it anyway. The grinder has a voice. A low, steady growl with little crunches inside it. Like gravel in a blender. Like someone chewing with their whole jaw. It vibrates up the walls and into the floorboards, and you can feel it in your feet if you stand still long enough. Every so often there's a pause, a scrape, a jar clink. Then it starts again. Dad calls it bone meal because he needs a normal-sounding name for an abnormal ingredient. Mort brings the jars up when he's done and sets them on the counter without making eye contact, like he's delivering salt. Dad mixes a little of it with whatever starch we can spare. Crumb dust, potato paste, the last honest flour, adds water and salt, presses the mix into flat rounds, and cooks them on the flat top until they set. They don't rise. They don't smell like real bread. But they hold, top and bottom. A bun that doesn't collapse, even if everything else does. I write BUNS, BONEMEAL in the ledger, and the grinder starts up again downstairs, loud enough to underline my handwriting. But I notice Jimmy Jr. He comes for a bowl of stew and a look. I'm 18. The fog is 5. I keep 2 crushes alive like contraband candles. One butt, one scarf. I write their names on a page that doesn't exist and fold it into a pocket of my mind. I don't turn inside out for anyone. I'm not choosing. The world is choosing every second. I get to keep what it hasn't gotten to yet. Night. We close when the grow house batteries admit defeat and Kuchi Kopi gets kissed goodnight. We shuffle the last bowls and plates into stacks. We wipe the grill with a rag that will be a relic someday. Dad washes hands like an incantation. Knuckles, webs, thumbs, each wrist. Teddy and Mort and Rudy carry the dying battery back to the grow house. We talk to it. You did great, we say to a box of acid and hope. Nap now. We slot it. We put a full one in its place. The front bikes are empty now. The pedals tick slowly. We sweep the sidewalk. The line's footprints fill with gray air. Jean plays one last pan chord. Linda sings a 3-note lullaby to the block. Fish odor leans in the doorway, cape flipping. Profitable day, he says. Dad nods. Fish odor tips his cane toward the grow house. I admire the meritocracy of sweat, he adds. We should build a tiered system. Louise smiles at him in a way that should send rich men to bed early. He drifts off. I tally the ledger. Bodies in, bowls out, buns counted by wish more than slice. Battery swaps, rider hours, onions emitted. I add a star next to ketchup bottles refilled with packet slurry. Mort's term. Don't ask. I put a heart in the margins for Jimmy Jr. volunteer hours. I draw a scarf that means Rudy swept the fog out of Mort's stairwell. The page smells like onion and pencil and an idea of bleach. I press my palm to it. A little grease ghost. Proof I was here. When I look up, Dad is still at the grill. The fire's low. The steel is tired. He is ladling stew for the lamplighters. Jean stacks pans. Louise checks the door bolts and then checks them again. Rudy lingers with an empty water jug. Jimmy Jr. lingers by the bike window, stretching his calves. I stand between them. The block literally triangulating around me. I feel greedy. I want what is impossible. A world that allows a girl to be loved by 2 good choices and a grill that never goes cold. The fog breathes against the glass. The bikes are quiet. The basil looks like it will do another day. The battery hum is a purr. The funeral home sighs. Mort says, "Good night, occupants, active and inactive." Teddy laughs and says, "Gross," then laughs again because gross is a form of intimacy we invented to replace tenderness when we got too busy to practice. I close the ledger. I touch the nail in the doorframe. I know it's nothing. I like knowing that it's mine. Tomorrow we'll do it again. Ride, swap, fry, ladle, shout, flirt at windows, sweep fog out of corners, trade hours for stew, give names to the anonymous, keep taste alive with pickles and onions and ketchup and mustard. The particular way Dad salts the edge of a patty like he's finishing a story he refuses to tell out loud. Dear Cannibal Diary, our block is a machine built out of people. It runs on legs and heat and jokes. It squeaks. It rattles. It sings. It feeds. It is stupid and holy. Either way, we'll be here. The bike's in the front. The basil in the back. Mort's upstairs full of sleep. The neon humming its brave hum. The ledger open like a throat, ready to swallow another day. And Dad at the grill, still conjugating. I cook. You eat. We live.